right, Rob. Hey, congratulations for Ultrasound.
Thank you, Gig. How's it going?
I am doing great. I'm doing great, especially the fact that I will have to admit I had to watch this movie more than once, and I think that's what your intention was.
It is. I think you probably watched two different movies then, because on a second viewing, there's a lot of new information that you've seen before.
I think I'm going to have to watch it for the third time because probably there's going to be even more,
Okay.
more information. But for you, Rob, what initially attracted you to a project like Ultrasound?
I think it's what you're touching on. It was mysterious, and I felt confused a little bit, but in a good, I felt like I was in good hands. And that's what I like about this type of storytelling. When I first read it, it wasn't completed, so I'd only read about half when I reached out to Connor. But that was enough, to get me excited.
So I'm trying to understand this. When it was pitched to you, was it what is a script form that was pitched to you, or was it a graphic novel that was pitched to
It
you?
wasn't pitched to me. I discovered the book at my local comic shop, and then like 6 months or a year later, I picked up the second book, and that's when I reached out to Connor to see if he was interested in making it into a screenplay. So I kind of pitched him, I guess.
So, how did you want to approach a film like this? Because it's in many ways, because of the twists and turns, it's very complicated and you have to approach this delicately.
Yeah, it was a tricky thing. I relied on that first initial experience of reading the book because that was, very authentic to me. I tried very hard to track where the audience was the entire time, so that, they had enough information to keep going and not get lost if they paid attention. And then, I was also concerned about the characters and the actors who are performing these roles because, it was important to follow those character trajectories through a complicated plot so that I could provide them the direction they needed to, perform as well as they did.
So specifically, because one of the things that this storyline is delving into is the concept of what's real and what's not real. But as like you said, you have to balance that out with your actors carefully. How did you manage to pull that off and, not confuse your actors or even your crew at the same time?
I think we kind of worked on it on like a big picture and then on this individual scenes that they were working on or we were shooting. So, big picture was, I think, interesting and important for the actors to understand, what was happening to what was happening to their characters in reality, in some sort of base reality. But then in the actual performance or shooting an actual scene, that didn't matter. What mattered was, the reality of two people talking. So we just kind of looked at each scene and performed each scene as its own individual thing. Does that make sense?
I think one of the biggest things for you to do in a film like this is to establish the mood of the film with your cinematography. And I want to say a lot of fade transitions, which it's almost like fading between reality and not reality. Could you talk about that approach for a film like this?
Some of that came out in the edit with our editor, Brock Bodell, did a great job of incorporating style. But as far as the cinematography, that was, the film was shot by Matthew Rudenberg as a cinematographer that I've worked with for many years. So we had a good shorthand and, we didn't have a massive preparation, but because we'd worked together a lot, I think he knew my taste, and I know how he lights and all that stuff. So it was kind of quick work, I guess. But the dissolves, that did feel to me to be sort of a dreamy, and it's not a popular thing. You don't see it much anymore. In fact, some editors there's an expression, can't solve it, dissolve it. Or that you only have 3 dissolves in your entire editing career. But Brock used them all.
Wow. Now, as I was reading through the notes, one of the important things that it was mentioned was the music, to help set the mood. Could you talk a little bit about that too?
Yes, Zach Engel did a phenomenal job, and I had only met him at the premiere of the film. He works on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. We finished shooting this days before the shutdown. So at that point, everything was virtual. And, I thought he did a phenomenal job. I paired him with our sound designer, Bob Burrito, and the two of them kind of handed elements off back and forth. So I wanted for the sound design and the score to sort of mix. So some of those sound elements that Bob created, a sound design is like the frequencies from the devices and stuff like that, got incorporated into the score.
Great. Could you talk about the cast that you actually worked with, in this film? I mean, everyone, I'll have to hand it to them. If they knew what they were doing, then it's a great cast.
Pros, they were real pros. I mean, people showed up very prepared, even if they didn't have much time to get there. And we didn't have a lot of takes. And I mean, I feel like I was very fortunate to have the actors that we did.
Now, this is your directorial debut. How was that experience for you? I mean, this was a challenging shoot by itself.
It was a good experience. I mean, I was thrilled and excited the whole time, I think. I don't know if that helped or not. But, after developing this project for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before we shot, it just felt great to be on set. And then, it was challenging. There was a short schedule and we had a lot of moves, and, it was ambitious. So, I don't know, it was thrilling stuff.
Great. Well, let me leave with one more thought with you, Rob, because this entire story is fascinating, because it's like reality, not reality, hypnotism, manipulation, and so on. But I want to ask you do you yourself believe in hypnotism, and are you susceptible to it?
I think everyone is, maybe some more than others, but I don't have any real personal experience with it. But I will say that Connor will tell the story that in high school, it was either like after a prom or like homecoming or something, there was a stage hypnotist at his school that hypnotized some of his friends. And it was similar to what was in the film, that these guys were like convinced of things that, could only be explained as hypnotism. So he believes it. And, I tend to as well, that it's certainly out there.
Most excellent.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
I have not. I've had volunteered for a magician type of thing, and that was surprising. But not a hypnotist act.
Okay.
But seeing is believing. I guess that's what some of us live by.
Yes.
Well, Rob, hey, congratulations once again for Ultrasound. I understand that hopefully there's another book coming, or more books coming out. Maybe there'll be more story for this.
Well, yeah, those 4 books are published now, or will be coming out in a single volume by Fantagraphics, and I think that's in May. So if you're interested in more story, it's in there, and keep an eye out for Ultrasound, the graphic novel.
Most excellent. Thank you very much, Rob. Hopefully we do this again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gig.